What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and kids these days will never understand the feeling that we had as teenagers when we would turn on MTV. Hell, kids these days probably don't even know that MTV used to be a music channel. Nowadays, all MTV does is play reruns of ridiculousness over and over and over again. It literally makes me want to throw up. I hate that show with every fiber of my being. But yeah, there was a time where MTV was where you went for music videos. But you know, as I was growing up and as I entered into my teen years, MTV dialed back the music a little bit. And they started playing a lot of reality shows. We had Pimp My Ride, MTV Cribs, and of course, you had Jackass, Viva La Bam, which was one of my favorites. I always thought it was funny how Bam Margera would just wreak havoc within his house. He would beat up his dad, cuss out his mom, build skate ramps in the living room. I thought it was hilarious, and I think everyone around my age, and even older, of course, loved that show when it was out. And you know, out of everyone in the Jackass crew, I think Bam Margera stood out for a lot of people. Which is, I guess, is why he had his own show. And maybe his own show is what caused him to stand out. But then again, Bam Margera had a following before a lot of the people on Jackass. In fact, a lot of people view Johnny Knoxville as the face of Jackass. But I don't think Jackass would have ever happened if it wasn't for Bam Margera. Well, Bam Margera has been going through a lot of things lately. Over the past few years, it's been hectic in Bam Margera's life. And one thing that I don't like, it's what I call the Britney Spears effect. You see, during the whole Free Britney movement to free Britney Spears from her conservatorship, people took on this mentality of, oh, well, we have to free everyone else in Hollywood. Look at this actress. She's in a conservatorship. Or look at this actor. He's in a conservatorship. And people formed this mentality that all of these people needed to be helped out of their conservatorships because in reality, all of them are perfectly fine. They're not dealing with substance abuse issues. They're not dealing with mental health issues. No, they're all just fine. And, you know, everyone else, the world is against them. Now, in some cases, I agree that these people, these stars, are being taken advantage of in their conservatorships. I also agree that there's a lot of dark, weird, and twisted stuff that happens in Hollywood. So I try not to blame people for feeling this way. And, you know, looking into the Bam Margera situation, there were a few things that were done over the years that I didn't like. You know, there were some things that were done or some things that Bam Margera was required to do that I didn't necessarily agree with. And sitting right here before you today, I can say that I don't necessarily agree with conservatorships. But I also don't agree with angry mobs trying to force families to make decisions for their loved ones that they know what's best for. You know what I mean? Like, usually your family and your close loved ones, your friends, they know a little more about your situation than outsiders. But you know, it's been a popular belief lately, ever since the Free Britney movement, that Bam Margera is perfectly fine. Leave Bam Margera alone, everyone. He's not dealing with anything. When in reality, Bam Margera has been spiraling for years. And I'm afraid that we're going to see something bad happen to him. I am honestly surprised that Bam Margera is still here to this day. It surprises me every morning when I wake up and I see that Bam Margera is still alive. And that may seem harsh or sound harsh, but that's just me being honest. I want what is best for this dude. But what's best for this dude is not making excuses for his actions and pretending like all of this stuff that's going on in his life is everyone else's fault and not his own, and not the fault of his own. Well, as if everything that's been going on isn't already enough. And listen, I chose for a reason not to dive into everything that Bam Margera has been having going on because it would take too long. Google it. I mean, every single day there's something new. But anyways, the point of this video is to inform you all that now Bam Margera is currently on the run from police as we speak in Pennsylvania, I believe. I kid you not, as we speak, at the time of this recording. Things may change in the coming hours. But as we speak, Bam Margera is on the run from law enforcement. Let's go ahead and dive into this article. Bam Margera allegedly beat up his brother and threatened to kill his family. Bam Margera is a wanted man in Pennsylvania on a slew of criminal charges. This after cops say he got into an altercation and made a getaway into the woods. The Pennsylvania State Police state troopers responded to a reported disturbance Sunday morning around 11 a.m. near Pocopson Township, which resulted in an alleged victim accusing Bam of being involved in some sort of physical confrontation. The only problem, by the time cops showed up, Bam had fled the scene of the incident into a nearby wooded area, and as of now has not been found. Hold on, I want to pause right there. Did Bam Margera run into that big treehouse fort that him and his friends built in the woods on the Viva La Bam show? Do any of y'all remember that? They built like this treehouse fort and had like a cannon up there that shot real life cannonballs and stuff. Maybe he's hanging out up there. Who knows? But let's go forward. Now a warrant has been issued for his arrest, and the PA State Police are actively searching for him, asking the public for any help on info regarding his whereabouts. The charges he's facing sound pretty serious, although we're told they're all misdemeanors. While we still don't know exactly what happened here or who the alleged victim is, we know Bam Margera is facing 4 counts of threats with intent to terrorize another, 1 count of simple assault, and a final count of harassment while subjecting another to physical contact. There has now been an update, though. The police report has been obtained describing what allegedly happened in the lead-up to Bam Margera fleeing into the woods, and it's a shocking account. According to cops, who say they spoke to the alleged victims, who happen to be Bam's own family members in this case, the former Jackass star started banging on his brother Jesse's bedroom around 8 a.m. on Sunday morning and left an ominous note behind. Jesse told police the signed letter from Bam read, "If you ever even think of effing calling the police on me, I will officially F you up." Jesse goes on to say that when he went downstairs, he found Bam Margera peeing in the kitchen sink, at which point a fight broke out. In the documents, Jesse claims Bam wailed on him and struck him multiple times in the head. And cops make a note of this in their report, noting visible injuries they say they observed. After the brawl, Jesse goes on to allege that Bam said, "I'll kill you. I'll put a bullet in your head." Jesse also told police that Bam allegedly said he'd also kill everyone in the house, the occupants of which at the time included his dad Phil and 2 other women. Jesse told police that Bam fled into the woods behind their home after this, and cops say that they came up short when they went out looking for him. Well, it doesn't surprise me that Bam Margera would threaten his own father. Have you seen what he would do to him on the TV show? He would literally wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and would like blare sirens and horns in his living room. And then when his dad would get up, he would just start beating him ruthlessly. It was always hilarious. But I think it goes to show that, acting like that, even if it's for a television show, which I can tell you right now, Bam Margera was never the type of person that put on for the cameras. Bam Margera is a wild person. So the cameras would just capture it. But growing up that wild, making all of that money, it definitely didn't set Bam up for a bright future. Don't get me wrong, the money, yeah. But how he acted, the things he got away with, of course that was going to lead to a path of destruction. And a lot of people seem to believe that Bam was always this addict. A lot of people believe that Bam was high as a kite during most of the filming of Jackass skits. But in reality, Bam steered clear of a lot of that stuff for years. And it wasn't until later in life that he started dabbling in those things. You see, Bam was a kid that was high on life. And, he created his own fun. He didn't have to partake in these substances. But obviously, he went down a bad route. And, I'm someone that sees the best in people. And I don't think that this has to be the final chapter for Bam Margera. I think if there was some accountability there from his family and his friends and his fans, I believe that Bam has the ability to straighten up. I believe he has the ability to live a good life. I believe that he has the ability to live a successful life. I believe that he can make a big comeback, maybe have another TV show, anything. I think the possibilities are limitless for someone like Bam if he were to get himself together. But unfortunately, we know his friends and family have enabled wild behavior his entire life. So I can't imagine that things are much differently now. And we know that his fan base, they have grown up with him and they've grown accustomed to him being a jackass, no pun intended. And I know these people like making excuses for celebrities that they look up to because I see them do it all the time. But we got to stop making excuses for Bam. I understand that there were some things happening, maybe some shady things that his co-stars and friends may have done. I'm not here to tell you that there isn't shady stuff going on in Hollywood. I'm not here to tell you that Bam wasn't screwed over at certain points. But I am here to tell you that Bam is definitely suffering from some issues that I believe he could gain control over if he had the right people in his corner and if people actually wanted to see him do good. So if you're a Bam Margera fan, stop making excuses for why he's this way and start encouraging him to get better. I'm hoping this is not the last we've heard from him. I'm hoping he didn't run off in the woods and get lost forever. I'm sure he'll be found. I'm hoping that when he is found, that there's not a big confrontation and that there's not a big crazy scene. Hopefully this is the first step, as crazy as it sounds. Hopefully this is the first step in Bam getting better. But I don't think that's going to happen if the whole world keeps making excuses for what he does. But we'll just have to sit back, wait and see. I am praying for Bam. I am hoping that things get better for him. I'm hoping that he takes some accountability and regains control over his own life. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.